This case is a great example of somebody who made meaningful changes in their gait as well as their runner readiness assessment and really had a significant improvement in their running. So this person came in and traveled down to see us, and they had consistent left-sided symptoms. And we took through the runner readiness assessment, and there were some limitations in some mobility restrictions in the ankle as well as some mobility restrictions in the low back. Then we took a look at the running, and we're watching that here now. And if we look at the right side, and if we look at initial contact here, overall, pretty good, landing fairly square underneath the body. We see the right 26 centimeters strike from center of mass and fairly vertical straight up and down tibia there, which is what we're looking for a lot of times. And then as we went to look at the left, and this is the symptomatic side, so now we're over here on the left side, and we see actually that on the left side, she was landing 30 centimeters in front of her body, so a fairly significant asymmetry there, and then her foot still landing kind of in front of the knee. So that's something that we really worked on, and we did some gait retraining, and she did a really good job in the first session. But the trick is could she maintain it? So she actually came back about 6 or 7 weeks later after going through a gait retraining program, and we looked at her form, and she said she was able to make a change and felt pretty good. And we were checking it out and see if we needed to make any tune-ups, and she did a really great job. So if we look here, you can just notice a big difference in these heat maps showing you what her gait looks like. Cadence around the same, slightly lower, but actually she was running with some improved mechanics here, where now she was 28 centimeters strike from center of mass, so symmetrical on either side with that. She's definitely landing with that shin straight up and down as we get into that position, so really good position at initial contact, which is going to reduce a lot of the braking forces that can be associated with injuries. But we saw a really nice job of it, and she was pretty relaxed and was able to really improve her mechanics there. So now we see the difference in that left from what we saw before. We still worked on some forward lean angle with her, which is common when somebody uses an overstride or knee drive like we did here. But a really good example of how somebody can make changes, have a right cue, and even independently go through some of these changes and change their form that'll really make an impact on her running. And she's been running now pain-free for the first time in a couple years after changing her form, and she also reduced her runner readiness assessment from a 29 to a 20. So really good example of just how somebody can make significant changes, and if they have a nice systematic approach and know what to do, they can really make some gains.